the weatherman Steinberger, accompanied by 2006 inductee, Ivan the Ironman Stewart.
Get this out of the way. I want to thank my beautiful wife, Kellyanne. You know, we're having some pretty good adventures, and I thank God for you every day. So, one thing about off-road racing is I never see anybody this clean. You guys look good tonight. All right? Like, wow. Like, guys, you need to rub your women's feet tonight. The heels, yeah. Go rub their heels, okay? And don't drink as much as I'm going to drink tonight. So, also like to thank my children, Sierra Ryder, Race and Ranger, who all are working at the family business now. And I want to thank all my employees, past and present, that have helped build PCI's brand and reputation as being the best service and support in the industry. A special thanks to my managers that have let me enjoy life a little better nowadays. And I want to thank Rhiannon, Jimmy, Yvette, Lisa, Brian, Joe, who's not here, and my son Ryder, who's now the sales manager at PCI. I'll talk about my father now, the original OG weatherman, who was inducted into ORMHOF in 2013, I think, yeah. And big shoes to fill, and I started going with my dad on the relay when he would go up on the mountains to do the score races when I was 12 years old, all right? And I got the nickname real soon that kind of sucked, called Weather Boy. All right? So when I was younger, I hated it when people called me Weather Boy, but now I kind of am proud of it because my father gave it to me. And, you know, my dad was a badass who helped people when there was no help. The only person you could talk to when you were broke down in Baja was my dad. And I don't really get to feel that same thing anymore because of technology. So technology has brought in satellite communications and other things I'll talk about in a minute. But, you know, my dad was the only guy you could talk to when you broke down in the middle of nowhere. And many guys here probably cried until he got a hold of you. So, I started going on the relays, like I said, when I was 12 years old. When I was 16, I started doing private relays. While he did the weatherman relay for SCORE, I would do private relays for other teams. And my favorite thing about going to the races was when we'd finish up, break everything down on top of Diablo Mountain, which was 100 kilometers up a dirt road at the time. It's now paved. We would race down the mountain, all right? So my father, who was on the mountain his whole career, he never raced Baja. And we would race down the mountain, and I would kick his ass. All right? So, like, I had to prove when I got down the mountain, so I'd have to take pictures and do other things. But so I beat him by 45 minutes and 100 kilometers. So he was impressed. And when I was 20 years old, he bought me a mini mag. Thank you, Mike Thomas at Cheneth. All right? So I took a break from the relay, and I raced for a few years. I got lucky. I got to race a mini mag, then a 7S, and then I raced one of Ivan's Pro Trucks, which was one of the best times of my life. Some of my dearest friends today are people I raced with in Pro Truck. Rick Johnson, Alan Pfluger, a lot of good people in the Pro Truck class. And Ivan used to always tell me, Scott, you can break an anvil with a rubber hammer. And so he always told me I should go race trophy truck, and I talked my dad into it. So I got a trophy truck. And I got to race that for a few years, and I thank God it was incredible. But this sport is amazing, and I feel honored to help people here get to the finish line. And I always hang out, and I get to deal with the people that are there at the very end. And I get to deal with the Class 11 car that decides he wants to get to the finish line, even though the finish line is closed for 2 freaking hours. All right? So I kind of start rooting them on, and I used to drink Red Bull. I don't drink that anymore, but I wake up and I get them to the finish line, and then we keep going on, and it's incredible. And I want to say a special thank you to Mike Perlman and his family for starting this craziness. ORMHOF. You, Mike, are a badass. And one last little shout out. My son, Race and Ranger, are now doing the communications at Moore, and they're the weather boys.